All right, welcome to the All-Remote Snapshot, where we're going to give you a glimpse into GitLab's 100% remote culture and a behind-the-scenes look at some of the amazing people that work here. So let's get right to it. Shawn Winters, who are you? How long have you been here? And what do you do at GitLab?
Yeah, thanks, Darren. Excited to be here. As Darren said, my name's Shawn Winters. I've been at GitLab for almost a year. September 17th will be my year mark. I work on the all-remote West SDR team for the enterprise and large and strategic accounts for GitLab. Most of my time is geared towards working with a strategic account leader and breaking into new accounts that are either familiar with GitLab and getting them more familiar with GitLab, or unfamiliar with GitLab and introducing them to what we do and the problems that we solve.
Gotcha. Well, look, what attracted you to GitLab? I mean, had you ever worked remotely before? Was this a key element in you coming here?
Yeah, good question. The real reason I decided to look at GitLab was I used to live in the Bay Area for 10 years and did the whole tech scene up there. And I had got a particular set of skills working at a lot of these companies. And what actually ended up happening is I moved down south, 3.5 hours south out of the Bay Area. And there aren't the tech jobs down here that they were up in the Bay Area. And so with my skill set, I was like, I wish I could do what I did up in the Bay Area, get paid well enough to similar to what I would make in the Bay Area, and live down here on the central coast of California. So I started looking for all remote SDR positions, and I previously didn't even know they existed. Found GitLab and I was like, hey, I'll try this out. And then as I got into it, I was just so excited about the opportunity and the people that I connected with that I was just like, this is my destination. This is where I got to go. I had never worked all remote before, but it's been great so far.
Awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important was the all-remote culture of GitLab? When you're considering factors like who you get to work with, your manager, your day-to-day tasks, all remote, compensation, all of this goes into the mind of someone looking for a new role. Where does all remote sit in that?
It was top priority for me. Second would be pay. Everybody needs to get paid for what they do. But yeah, the flexibility of working at an all remote company and what GitLab preaches as far as spending time with your family, unlimited vacation, all these things of trusting the employee. I just had never experienced that before. And I was just so excited about the fact that I wasn't going to be micromanaged. They were going to let me do what they hired me to do and trust me to get the results that they wanted. So it was just huge. And especially with, a lot of my goals and ambitions, just the flexibility of being all remote, maybe going to watch my son, take him home early from daycare, whatever it was just a huge added benefit. So I would definitely say a 10.
So look, you've mentioned a little bit about what you've noticed in the all remote culture, but I want you to dive a little deeper. I've heard some of these things said about other companies, like unlimited vacation, family first, all of that. It's really easy to write that on the wall. It's a little bit different to live it. And we're all about transparency here at GitLab. So I just want to know, honestly, how has that been reflected? Is this actually in the ethos of the people that work here? Could we improve in any way? What are your feelings on it?
Oh, it's great. For me, the other day, my son doesn't live with me all the time. And the other day, last Tuesday, I had to take him home to see, to live with his mom. And so because my GitLab trusts me as an employee to get the results that they hired me to do, they trust me to, work my butt off when I am working. I was able to work my butt off, get my job done, and take my son and take a half day in order to deliver him to his mom. So just little things like that, or, cutting out of work a little bit early to go watch my son, do swimming lessons. I think that GitLab does a fantastic job of allowing us to do what we were hired to do. If we need help, they're going to help us, of course, but they trust that, with the culture that they've given us, that we're going to, learn all the things that we need to know, help others, and get our job done at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'll say from my experience, we have a culture of don't ask, must tell for vacation and things like that, picking up your son, dropping him off early. It's been amazing where we just treat each other like adults instead of having to fret about, oh my, do I have this vacation, or is this gonna tick somebody off because I request 4 hours here and there. None of that matters, and everybody just trusts each other to do whatever they need to do and structure their life in whatever the way they need to, as long as the work gets done. And
Yep.
there's no judgment that goes along with it. And in fact, we celebrate each other's unique days and unique schedules and what we're able to accomplish because the work allows it. So it's awesome to hear that that's been true for you as well. So look, give me a quick walkthrough, a day in the life of your day here at GitLab.
So I'm big on getting walks in the morning. So the cool thing about GitLab is so I wake up, obviously I do my morning routine, all that, but when it's time to actually, the first meetings on my day would be maybe like an all hands or an ask me anything, or a particular group conversation. Like this morning, it was on the defend part of our product. I can actually go out, be on a walk, be listening to the conversation on my phone, and just be getting exercise and out in the wilderness and in nature, enjoying myself while learning more about GitLab. And I don't think you can get that anywhere else. You can't just, if we were in an office, they might have their own little particular meeting in a conference room. But because all these are open to every single person in the company, I can learn new things about our product that I can relay to customers while doing cool stuff like going on a walk. I think that besides that, I come back and I structure my day to get the most out of my day. I'm a very early morning kind of guy. I'm very active and productive in the morning. So a lot of my activities and tasks are set up in the morning, and I try to block off that time. So nothing else can get in my way. And then in the afternoons, I try to do a lot of my administrative stuff. And then the great thing about it is that if I have a successful day and I do all the things I need to do, I can leave work early around 3:30 or 4, get to the gym before the rush, and it's a great day. So definitely.
That's amazing, man. And the crazy thing about that, when I'm listening to this, I know so many other people at GitLab that structure their days completely differently, but they have the same sort of sense of liberation and autonomy and freedom at the end of it. And that's the beauty of working asynchronously, where to the best degree we can, we don't require each other to be on at the exact same time to get work done. And when you relieve that burden where real life can happen and you're free to adapt to it as it happens, it makes your day-to-day so much less stressful. It's a liberating thing. It's pretty amazing. We have people that work almost 60 countries, almost every time zone covered. And so we have to be able to work asynchronously. So that's pretty awesome. Look, last question. If you were to give someone advice on working for an all-remote company like GitLab, it could be another company, what's the advice that you would give them? Coming from a place where you hadn't worked remotely before, this is going to be a particular interest that for people that are considering this, but they might not be sure if it's for them.
Sure. Yeah, I would say my advice to anybody thinking about working in an all-remote environment is to initially get some structure that you can follow initially until you get a hang of what it's like to work in an all-remote culture. Because as you were saying, Darren, like the asynchronously, working asynchronously, it takes a little bit of getting used to, and it can seem overwhelming at first. So if you can, find somebody that's on your team that find the best way to structure your calendar every day to where you feel like you did a good day's work, I think that's huge for starting off and being successful in an all-remote environment, because you don't have your colleagues right there next to you validating every single thing that you do. And I think that when you're working in an office setting, that's something that we kind of rely on without even thinking of it. Hey, they're doing this, so I'm doing this. But when you're working remotely, you somewhat have to self-motivate yourself to just get going on a lot of things. And once you build in that calendar and that routine, then you'll start to see, hey, how can I work more effectively this way? Can I do this, be a little freer here to go, on a walk midday or whatever. And I think that's the advice that I would give right now. Set up a routine right away, follow it for the first couple months. Once you get a hang of things, you're good to go.
I'm going to do a bonus question. What
Okay.
have you done with all the time that you've been saving from not having a commute? And can you ever imagine going back to a not remote environment now that you've been here?
Oh man, that's a tough one. No, I'm not going back to an in-office setting. I love it too much. I mean, there's pros and cons with everything. Like, I'm a social guy. I love interacting with people. I do that through Slack now as much as I can, probably bug a few people. But, what I do with a lot of my off time is either spend time with my family or work on projects that I'm really passionate about. And I don't think you know, going to an office, commuting into an office 9 to 5 or whatever, and driving back. You just don't get that as much. You're tired at the end of the day, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it allows me to do the things that I want to do, and the projects that I want to work on. So it's amazing. I love it.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you for your time. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to check out our all remote culture at the GitLab handbook. Thousands of pages there, dive in, and everyone can contribute. So sign up for a GitLab account and start contributing as well. Till next
Thanks,
time.
everybody.